that we need to beat in order to finish ahead of them.
Tressler in the game to punt. Lovely stands inside the 50. The Blue Devils will milk all of the clock. 1:10 when the ball is snapped. Nice punt by Tressler. Fair catch called for by Lovely, and he will take it at the 40-yard line. So with 1 minute and 4 seconds remaining in the ball game, Cawood, Tommy, will get another shot at it.
Another shot, and let's see about some of these maybe defensive changes for the Blue Devils. And I wonder if Cawood will come out gunslinging and trying to get another quick pop on the scoreboard. Nelson goes back in at nose man. Morris is a linebacker. Out comes Bowles. In goes Buchanan. Also checking into the football game, Scotty Gann and Mark Wilson for Lebanon. So there have been some defensive substitutions. In the secondary, we've got the same guys that have been back there. Deep anyway, we've got Phillips, C, and Pitt.
So 1st and 10, 1 minute and 4 to go for the Trojans. They will turn, give it to the fullback straight up the middle on the play, about a yard gain. That's Scott Howard in on the play. Tackle is made. Oh, I wanted to say who the tackle was made by. It was by Jason Morris and Mark Wilson as well. Into the game will go Corey Clemens in on defense. He will be replacing Damon Pitt on the right side. So you now have Clemens C and Tressler are your deep backs. 2nd down play, they'll give it to the tailback. That is not Curtis. So Tommy, our thought if they're going to come out slinging doesn't look to be correct. It is Larry Thomas, the freshman running back. So Cawood High School and their coach Tim Saylor looking to get some experience for their backups as well. As the game just about to an end, we've got 7 seconds remaining.
Lee Wright has come in for perhaps 1 snap, and I don't even think Cawood's coming out of the huddle. That's going to do it. 28-0 is your final score. Lebanon defeats Cawood High School from Harlan, Kentucky in the homecoming game. We'll be back with the post-game show with Blue Devil head coach Bob Dillard and the stats with Terry Stafford after you hear this.
Welcome to the post-game show. I'm your host, John Bryan, with head coach Bob Dillard. The post-game show is brought to you by Steve Jones, Century 21 Macon Realty, Tim Bennett Insurance, College Street Church of Christ Youth Ministry, Greg Brothers Car Wash, and the Chums Convenience Stores. Coach, great win, homecoming victory, 2 shutouts in a row.
Well, I'm just glad that we got this one behind us. This bunch come in here and we didn't know anything about them, didn't know what they were going to do, how they were going to line up, and I've just had nightmares all week because we didn't know really what to prepare for, and you can't start preparing for everything because then you'll be out here all day long. So I'm just glad we got this one behind us.
Cawood brought a good 0-4 team in here.
I was impressed. Their coaches tried to give us the impression that they weren't very good and that kind of thing, and they didn't want to swap any film with us, but they've got a good football team.
Coach, next week, looking ahead, we got a big region contest coming up. We go to Murfreesboro, Oakland.
Well, it's just like I just told our guys, from here on out, they're big. We've got Oakland, which is a big region game, and it's always tough playing them over there. And we've got to come back Monday ready to go to work and have a good week of practice.
Coach, we brought in big yardage on the offensive side of the ball, but yet we had 60 yards in penalties that hurt us.
Well, you can't do that in the big ball games and win. You can't, I don't think they ever stopped us. We stopped ourselves 2 or 3 times, and we should have scored 2 more times in the first half, and because of penalties, we don't get in the end zone, and we've got to cut out those mistakes, and that's mental. We've got to take care of that.
Jade Sellers, big night on the offensive side.
Jade ran the ball well. We feel like if we can get Jade to football 10, 12, 15 times a ball game, that he's going to make something happen.
Chris Stafford had a good night in the backfield. Chris ran hard, held on to the ball, and really gave a good effort.
Right. I'm so proud of Chris Stafford. He's accepted his role well. He's going to spell Jade, and when he gets a chance, he just runs like a Dickens. I mean, he runs hard, and he don't weigh probably 150 pounds, but he's a tough guy to bring down.
Joel Griffin made a good run. He's real quick.
Joel's quick as a cat. He gets to kind of wanting to dart and dodge instead of running at times, but we're going to get that out of him. And when he gets football, he can flat move.
What can we expect out of Murfreesboro, Oakland next week?
Well, of course, we haven't looked at any film yet. Evidently, they throw the ball fairly well because they scored 20 points in the fourth quarter against Hendersonville last week. So we really don't know. We'll swap film with them in the morning, and hopefully we'll know something by dinner time or so tomorrow.
Coach, any injuries tonight?
Not that I know of. Just a couple of little nicks and bangs. Shane Woodall's got a knot on his elbow, and a couple other guys have little things like that, but nothing serious.
Coach, congratulations again on a big non-region game, but it was homecoming tonight. Did you get to see the Raymond Lassiter show at halftime?
No, I missed that, John. I wished I had seen that. Hopefully I can. Somebody's got it on film where I can look at it. Raymond's been excited about that all week, and I'm sure it was a sight to see.
That's put it very lightly there, Coach. That's been the post-game show with your host, John Bryan, with Bob Dillard, head coach of the Blue Devils, brought to you by Steve Jones, Century 21 Macon Realty, Tim Bennett Insurance, College Street Church of Christ Youth Ministry, Greg Brothers Car Wash, and Chum's Convenience Stores. Back up to Terry Stafford for the wrap-up.
Thank you, John. As Lebanon defeats Cawood High from Harlan, Kentucky tonight in 1994 homecoming for the Blue Devils, defeating Cawood 28-0. Recapping the scoring for Lebanon, they get on the board in the first quarter, 9:19 left in the first quarter. Lebanon marches 38 yards in 4 plays. Bo Grissom with the touchdown. Kyle Zachary added the extra point, and at the end of the first quarter, Lebanon led 7-0. In the second quarter, Lebanon scores 3:43 left in the half. Elliott Carson receives a 22-yard touchdown pass from Jason Reeder. Lebanon going 69 yards in 7 plays. J.L. Presley with his first career PAT, and Lebanon led at halftime 14-0. In the third quarter, Lebanon gets on the board, 8:14 left in the third. Brooks Cherry, a 21-yard touchdown pass from Reeder. Lebanon going 67 yards in 5 plays. Presley again with the extra point, and after 3 quarters, Lebanon led 21-0. The only scoring in the fourth quarter, again Lebanon, a 95-yard march, 11 plays. Chris Stafford with a touchdown, Zachary with the extra point, 28-0, and that was our final as Lebanon defeats Cawood tonight, 28-0. Taking a look at the stats, first for Cawood, 36 rushes for 94 yards. Passing, Cawood with 95 yards passing on 8 of 17 passing. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions. 189 total yards for Cawood. First downs, Cawood with 10 first downs, 6 rushing, 4 by passing. Turnovers, they had 2 turnovers. Both of those were interceptions. Individually tonight, their leading rusher tonight was Denny Curtis, 19 carries, 110 yards. Passing tonight, Jacob Saylor, 8 of 17, 95 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 189 total yards for Cawood. For Lebanon tonight, 30 carries, 209 yards on the ground, passing 98 yards passing, 4 of 8 for Jason Reeder, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 98 yards passing, 209 on the ground, 307 yards for Lebanon in the ball game. First downs, Lebanon with 14 first downs. Lebanon did not turn the ball over tonight. Individually for Lebanon, Jason Reeder, 2 carries for 1 yard. Bo Grissom, 5 carries for 19. Chris Stafford, 10 carries for 70 yards. Jade Sellers, 10 carries for 102. Joel Griffin, 2 carries for 15. Luke Shepard, 1 for 2 yards. That's 30 carries, 209 yards for Lebanon. Jason Reeder tonight passing, 4 of 8, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 98 yards passing by Lebanon, 209 on the ground, 307 total yards for Lebanon. Tommy, Lebanon takes care of business tonight in homecoming, beating what was probably an outmanned Cawood team, 28-0.
28-0, that final score as the Blue Devils put away the Trojans from Harlan, Kentucky, Cawood High School. And you've seen it all, folks, from the pregame festivities with the band and the introduction of the cheerleaders, the senior band members, the band court, the band sweetheart, the homecoming activities at halftime with the Blue Devil homecoming queen, Kim Coots, and her attendants, and the spectacular fire show by Raymond Lassiter, and, of course, the big win by the Blue Devils, 28-0. Tune in next week as Lebanon High will take on Oakland in a regional football game. Big game coming.